So let's see how much geometry you actually know, because if you're pretty good in geometry, you ought to be able to figure this problem out. Okay, so what we have here is a four-sided polygon. We would also call this a quadrilateral. All right, so this side is 3, this side is 4, this side is 5, and what we're trying to do is solve for this length right here, x. Okay, now we do have a clue here, and that's these symbols right here. And I'm going to hold off on telling you what these are because I'm going to give you a full opportunity for you to solve this problem. Matter of fact, if you have the answer, go ahead and put that into the comment section. And if you need help in geometry or algebra or any other level of mathematics, make sure to check out my math help program. You can find a link to it in the description of this video. So the key to solving this problem is not to think of this entire figure as one big quadrilateral. So what we can do here is actually kind of split this quadrilateral this way, and now we have two triangles, right? So we have this triangle here and this triangle here. Okay, so let's get back to these little symbols right here. So what do these things mean? Well, this indicates that these triangles, or this angle right here, is a right angle, i.e. it is 90 degrees, and so is this angle right here. So what we have here is two right triangles, all right? So this triangle is a right triangle because we have a right angle here, and so is this one. Now, why is that important? Well, because anytime you have a right triangle, you can use something called the Pythagorean Theorem, and that is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And this theorem, or law, basically allows us to find the lengths of a right triangle. So if we know two sides of a right triangle, we can easily solve for the third side. So right here in this particular triangle, so here we have 5, here we have 4. We have two sides of this right triangle, so we can find this side called the hypotenuse. Now, if we have this side right here, if we can figure this out, and we can because we know these two sides right here, well, that's enough information to solve for x, because now we have this side and this side, and we can solve for x. So our strategy here is to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out this side, which would be the hypotenuse of this right triangle, and it's also the hypotenuse of this other right triangle, and then we can solve for x. Okay, so this is going to involve some algebra. So before we get into the actual solution, let's go ahead and do a quick review of the Pythagorean theorem. So again, if you have a right triangle and you have two sides of that right triangle, you can easily solve for the third missing side of any right triangle using the Pythagorean theorem. And we'll take a look at this example right here. So we have a right triangle indicated by this notation right here, and this side is 3 and this side is 4, and what we want to do here is solve for x. And the longest side of a right triangle is called the hypotenuse, and it's always opposite of that right angle. Okay, now this is going to be really important here as we apply the Pythagorean theorem, but let's go ahead and take a look at the general formula for the Pythagorean theorem. And the key variable here is c. Okay, so the longest side of a right triangle is called the hypotenuse, and it's always going to be the variable c. And the two other sides, the shorter side and the middle side, are going to be the variables a and b. Okay, and it really doesn't make a difference if this is b and this is a. What is key here again is that c represents the longest side, which is the hypotenuse. Okay, so this is the Pythagorean theorem. It's a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So what does this mean? Well, it means that if we square this side and then we add it to the square of this side, it's going to be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply this to solve this triangle problem right here. And again, what we have is a right triangle, and we're missing the length of the hypotenuse. So we can easily solve this using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is square this side, add it to the square of this side, and it's going to be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So if this is a, and this is b, and this is c, what we have is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. All right, so here again we have 3 squared plus 4 squared, or 4 squared plus 3 squared. It really doesn't make a difference, but what is key is that the hypotenuse right here is on this side of the equation, so x squared. So c squared will be x squared. Okay, so again, we have 4 squared plus 3 squared is equal to x squared, which again is the length of the hypotenuse, which we're trying to figure out. Okay, so 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, so 16 plus 9 is 25, and that is going to be equal to x squared, or the hypotenuse squared. So to solve for x, all we have to do is take the square root of both sides. So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 25 is 5. So x is equal to 5, meaning that the hypotenuse here in this particular triangle is 5. Okay, so if this makes sense and you understand this, well then we know enough to actually solve the problem. So here again is our original problem, and remember we're going to think of this quadrilateral as 2 right triangles. Now we have to study these right triangles and look to see what information we have. And in this triangle right here, we know 2 sides of the right triangle, so we can find the missing side, which is this side right here, or the hypotenuse. So this is what we need to focus on first, and then once we get this side, we can solve for x. Okay, so here we have a right triangle made up of this side 4 and this side 5. So let's kind of break that out this way. So what we're trying to do here is solve for the hypotenuse. Again, this is the c variable in the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Okay, so we're going to square this side, and then we're going to add it to the square of this side. So this is going to be 5 squared plus 4 squared, and this is going to be equal to c squared, or in this case, x squared. All right, so 5 squared is 25, plus 4 squared is 16. 25 plus 16 is 41, and that is equal to x squared. So to solve for x, all we have to do is take the square root of both sides. So x is equal to the square root of 41. Okay, so this is the length of the hypotenuse here in this particular right triangle. So now we need to use this information to solve the other triangle. Before I continue with this solution, if you're getting something out of this video, make sure to like and subscribe. That really does help me out on YouTube. And if you need help in math, or if you just want to kind of relearn mathematics, make sure to check out my Math Help program. I offer courses from basic math all the way to pre-calculus and everything in between, to include homeschooling courses, test preparation, etc., etc. So I offer well over 100 different type of math courses. You can check all that out by following the links in the description. Okay, so back to our problem here, and our strategy again was to break up this quadrilateral into 2 right triangles. So we use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for this side right here, which we now know is the square root of 41. So now what we need to focus on is this right triangle right here. But this time we have the hypotenuse and this side, so we're going to be solving for x. And that's going to be different algebraically than what we did with this right triangle right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how this works. And again, what we have to do is simply follow the Pythagorean theorem and let the algebra kind of lead us where it's going to go. So when we set up the Pythagorean theorem, it's going to be x squared plus 3 squared is equal to the square root of 41 squared. Okay, so you have to be very careful here. Remember, this side is always c. This is the hypotenuse in this particular triangle. So again, we have a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. You always need to identify which side is c. So here, c is the square root of 41. Okay, so again, we have 3 squared plus x squared is equal to the square root of 41 squared. Okay, so 3 squared is 9, x squared is x squared, and the square root of 41 squared is 41. So algebraically here, what we need to do is subtract 9 from both sides of the equation. So we get x squared is equal to 32. So to solve for x, all we have to do is take the square root of both sides. So x is equal to the square root of 32. Okay, so this is the correct answer. However, we have a problem right here algebraically. We're not allowed to leave our square roots unsimplified, but this is the correct value. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll take a look at our final answer. So again, x is equal to the square root of 32. So this is the correct value, and if you wanted to get a decimal approximation, you could get your calculator out and get that number. But if you were taking some sort of test, your teacher would not like it if you left your answer like this. And the reason why is that we can actually simplify the square root of 32, and this is really not optional in mathematics. Okay, so the square root of 32 is equal to the square root of 16 times 2. So what we're looking for here is something called perfect square factors. So 16 times 2 is 32. Now the reason why we want to think of the square root of 32 as the square root of 16 times 2 is that we can actually break up this big square root into its individual factors. So the square root of 16 times 2 is equivalent to the square root of 16 times the square root of 2, and we know that the square root of 16 is 4. So our final answer is x is equal to 4 times the square root of 2. Okay, so this would be the best final version of our answer. And if you got this right, I definitely have to give you a nice little happy face and an A+. That is fantastic. Now, the one thing that you need to remember is that if you're trying to get good in geometry, you first need to know algebra, all right? So you don't want to learn geometry and then algebra. The sequence is always algebra first and then geometry. And oftentimes people struggle in geometry because they are weak in algebra. And as a math teacher, knowing that this is the case, I offer a great bundle deal. If you go to my Math Help program and check out my full geometry course, you'll see that you'll be able to get algebra for 50% off. So this is really a key bundle. Again, if you're trying to learn geometry, you really need to make sure you understand that algebra. Okay, so again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And with all that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your math adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.